Hi Saida, it's lovely to see you at the Mad World conference. It's lovely to meet you in person.
You too. So nice to see you today.
Yes. We just saw your session, and thank you so much. It was really interesting, empowering. I wanted to ask you a question. There is this notion that a lot of obviously employees love working from home, and the leaders want people back in office. So what do we do about that? What do you think could be a good strategy forward for the business leaders to implement?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Eve. Yes, we're going through this future of work phase, and essentially we've had the great resignation. So post-pandemic, a lot of people have just handed in their notice and decided not to come back to the workplace. Those people who are still in the workforce prefer to work from home. So we've done lots of surveys, and the majority of people would at least like hybrid working. So I think there is a disconnect between what senior leaders want, like you said, and what the staff want. And I think that at the moment we're talking a lot about artificial intelligence, AI, ChatGPT, but I think we need to go back to basics if we want to stop this disconnect. We need to go back to EI. So we should be talking more about EI and not so much about AI. So EI, emotional intelligence, is senior leaders' ability to understand their emotions and also understand the emotions of people around them. So if they are able to take all the feedback coming from the staff surveys, understand why staff do not want to return full-time to the office and prefer hybrid working, and understand how we can build cultures. Even if we're working hybrid and everyone's not coming back to the office full-time, we still need to build an inclusive culture. So I think what senior leaders need to do is just understand how staff are feeling and then work with the staff to create that sort of hybrid working environment that would make people want to come back to the office.
Thank you. Yes, and I loved your piece about the survey that you did, and the results that you found out, and then you showed them to the leaders where they were most surprised.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah, that's really interesting. And when I start any DEI role, I know I meet with all the leaders, interview them, get their viewpoints on the state of inclusion in the organisation, and I take my notes, and then I go and speak to staff and I ask them the same question: how inclusive are we? And most of the time I get total opposite response. So I always know that there's a disconnect between what senior leaders think and what staff think in the organisations. And the focus group is a way that I've been able to get that information, because people want to give information but in a safe way. So we have to do it in a safe space. So when I do focus groups, what I do is anonymize the results and meet with the staff, totally anonymize it, type it, and then send that to the leaders, and that gives them an understanding of what their staff are thinking. And like I said, when I've taken those results to the boardroom, regardless of the organisation, the chief executive are just shocked, and they said, where did you get this information from? But that shows us the level of disconnect between the senior leadership and staff. Sometimes they do not actually understand what's happening in the organisation. So that takes me back to the same point again about that emotional intelligence, and also building a relationship with staff. So whether it's through reverse mentoring, whether it's through mentoring, how can we bridge the gap, and how can we create better understanding between senior leadership team and staff?
And also you are a multi-award winning professional, and your organization, I know, won 5 awards in the last 5 years, which is fantastic.
That's right.
If you look back at your career, what is your one big win?
Big win for us. I think, definitely in terms of where we started in 2018. Bristol, as you know, we like to get things started, and we started talking about inclusion in Bristol around that 2018, 2 years before the demise of George Floyd. And I think then it was even more of a challenge to get people on board, because everyone's like, what are they on about there? So I think in Bristol, it was more about getting people on board. And we worked with the businesses in Bristol to get them to support the Stepping Up program and the initiation of that program. And a year later, we started getting all these awards. And I think it's just because, again, we're ahead of the curve, we're ahead of the times, and we were encouraging people to start. So one big initiative that I do like in Bristol was the Bristol Equality Charter. So we launched that, we worked on that in 2018, and in 2019 launched the charter, and it was such a day that we had more than 200 organizations, public sector, private sector, not-for-profit, got together in one building and signed up to this charter, saying like, this is what we're going to do to make Bristol a more inclusive city. So it wasn't about the city council or any one organization, but it was done as a community, and something we call the Bristol One City Plan. And that was what was behind that. So it was such a proud moment. So in my heart, I feel that warmth every day. Yeah, I feel the warmth every day, because we had some sheets of paper on the wall, and everybody had to sign their signature, and I went and I signed mine. And at the time, I was the chair of the Black Employees Network, so I signed, and I had people in my network there, and then all these community groups. We had the mayor, the deputy mayor, and all these other community people in there. And it just felt like a community.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I think Bristol Equality Charter is definitely a high point.
Yes, no, so it just shows how events can bring people together to share ideas, to make big steps forward.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing you at our event on 27th of November at St. James Place Wealth Management. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.